Welcome back to the Speculative Podcast. I'm Joe, here with James, and today we'll be discussing Gods of Risk, a short story by James S.A. Corey. In the Expanse universe, takes place between Caliban's War and Abaddon's Gate. I don't know if I'm saying Abaddon's Gate right, but I don't know if I'm saying half the things in any of these stories correctly. But yeah, stories. I think this is the first one we got where it's set on Mars. How did you feel about basically just the world building that they did in just this short story that they had here? Learned a lot about Mars just from the story versus it just being like briefly mentioned in the rest of the stories. But what did you think?
Eh, I don't think this. I don't feel like the story adds much to the universe.
It does and it doesn't. I mean, it does. It does give us the opportunity to see how Mars kind of reacted to those warheads being sent in their direction before ultimately being destroyed. But you can kind of feel the tension with them just despising Earth, and and then also. Bobbie was back in this one. Was not expecting to see any main characters in this one, to be honest with you. But yeah, I guess this is her nephew was the main character for this, David Draper, and he kind of was doing, a Breaking Bad thing for this one, cooking. I don't think it was meth though, but something similar.
Was
You think it was totally meth?
no, he. They give you a whole list of things, but methamphetamines of different types are definitely all on that list.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it was interesting to see it from there. Do you think? I figured I'll just throw this right out there. Do you think David is coming back later in the stories, or do you think this is the only time we see him?
I think this is the only time we see him
That would
because
be kind of disappointing.
ultimately he
But,
meant absolutely nothing.
well, he
His
meant a
his
little bit.
his entire claim to fame is that he helped convince her that she needed to stop staying on Mars and get back into the universe. So if she's in the next book, like right off the bat, that's what he's done for the world. Otherwise, he's useless. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was coming back. The the end of Caliban's War kind of made it sound like she was at least going to be going on a hiatus from the series.
Yeah.
Just the way they worded it, where it's like I'm going to go back and spend time with family. That's kind of like what they do in like a sitcom when like
And when you
the
realize your
character.
memories are wrong and your family sucks, and you're like, nope, get me out of here.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, stories set on Mars. I think what is it? They're under stress because of the thing with Earth. They want to do terraforming, and then there's the rise of crime and drug use and all the disillusioned youth that David Draper highlights. But yeah, he what's the name of the guy? I think it's Hutch.
Close enough. Hutchins, maybe?
I don't know. I see Hutch and I've also seen Bazoo, so I don't know if I think maybe Bazoo's his first name. Bazoo Hutchins. Hutch. But anyway, uh, yeah, but
You don't really
yeah,
get a
so
rise to, though. Like, that's already happening. That's been happening in the background the whole time. It didn't just rise. The only rise you got was, like, the terrorist uh, explosions that were interrupting, like, their frame lines. Like
Yeah.
the drugs and stuff. That was always happening in the back. That's not any different than the other than Amos's short story. Like we already know in this universe that even though we're removed in the main story, uh, shit is nuts for most people outside of these examples where we get to see the people that the crew generally interact with at a higher level who are just while making decisions experiencing an aspect of life that isn't relatable for most of the people that exist in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah, seems to be an overall shitty life for pretty much anybody we encounter. I guess with the example of, or with the exception of Ava Sarala, but I heard then
Oh,
she
but she's in that
went
privilege
into the
spot.
shitty. Yeah,
No, she's a character of privilege. She doesn't know anything but privilege.
exactly. But then, I mean, she ended up in a shitty situation still, though. So there's not anybody that's like completely cushy. But
Yes. Yes, she did, right? Yes, I'll agree with that. She absolutely did. And absolutely could have been murdered, could have been killed, could have ended everything. But realistically, did she? Because I mean, take for example, I don't know the people around Amos in his short story, right? The
yeah,
births that aren't documented, so those people don't even count as people. But I'm supposed to believe that. Oh man, Ava, whatever her name is, um, what a hard life she's had. Like, no, not even remotely. No, she
yeah,
went. She went to a posh school. She's a rich person who knows other rich people. Who eventually climbs up through the democracy, or the not democracy, but bureaucracy. Um,
democracy in quotes.
well, I mean,
So,
again, that depends on what. I don't think we have an actual democracy going on here from the way the Earth government is explained.
yeah, yeah,
But
it seems
whatever,
like
doesn't matter. Bureaucracy
what
was
is
the
it
word I
called?
wanted anyway.
What is an autocracy, or how you say it when it's the rich are pretty much in charge?
Plutocracy?
I said autocracy or
Yeah, I believe it's
oligarchy. Oligarchy.
plutocracy.
Oh, I thought it was oligarchy when the rich are in charge. I don't know. We'll look it up later. Um,
Plutocracy. Government by the wealthy.
well, then
A
what's
country or
oligarchy?
society governed by the wealthy.
Gotcha. All right. Plutocracy it is then.
Oligarchy. A small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institution. So there's some overlap there in that the oligarchs are generally super wealthy. But they don't have to be.
Gotcha. Yeah. But anyway, Mars, far from all that. Um, I think they even had, what was it? They had certain districts where they're just known as people that are
Oh,
non-sociable. Like,
it's
I'd probably live there.
That's like being in
I
a
was,
snobby district versus being in a poor area, like a slum. Same
yeah.
concept.
What they say? Innis shallows and Innis deep. Those are the,
Yeah. But
and I
again,
think that's where.
that just re-emphasizes the story that we already knew from Amos's short story. So it's not something that this story has actually added to the universe.
Well, I mean, it's a entirely different planet now. So at least with this story now, we know that it's kind of like a common theme, just going throughout the solar system. Uh,
So I'm not
the
supposed to be a pessimist and expect human beings to be human beings on other planets? Like, oh, we moved to Mars now. We're better. We're better than we've ever been as a species. I swear it. There is no more social
no, I mean that's my
system.
point. That's my point is that they're highlighting it
But
by
you can
having a short
you can
story on Earth and a short story on Mars where it's the exact same conditions for lowly people.
It feels inferable.
I mean, I think that's the point. But yeah. So, what did you think of David? He seemed pretty.
Naive.
Yeah, I feel like, and the authors even said, it's. Did you read the end blurb of Gods of Risk?
No, I don't believe so.
With this is how they described it. They said, it's a story of David Drake, who is in the transition between the unfortunate dumb.
David Drake.
Did I say David Drake?
You said David Drake.
God damn it!
What history book were you reading, sir? Privateering 101, huh?
Yeah, of David Draper. But the author said, who is in the unfortunate dumb fuck phase of adolescence that everyone has to suffer through. So, and yeah, he's infatuated with Leelee, who clearly is not going to amount to anything, unfortunately.
Nope. It's another reminder that Ava has a privileged life.
Nailed it.
I know. I got it that time.
Yeah, so, but yeah, no, I think it was almost like, it was weird, like Bobbie's like just watching TV all the time. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's kind of disappointing in the beginning. I'm glad that they kind of, returned her to character, but it was kind of like a.
Oh, so I didn't mind that though, right? Because but what she was doing was she was working out, right? Which got you.
Obviously.
That is her lifestyle. Even when she was in the Martian Marines, working out was her lifestyle.
Yeah.
40% of what we've read about her has been her exercising in some way or another. And watching news, which to me that wasn't terrible, because what that really is that you can see I can't believe we have to keep saying it. Ava sort of whatever's. You can see her influence, because Bobbie didn't give a shit about politics, even halfway into the last book. But now she cares enough about politics that she's watching it constantly, even while exercising.
Yeah. Yeah. Ava Sarala has ruined her. So, I mean, that definitely hurts or shows in this story as well. But yeah, so I mean, not much goes on as far as plot. I mean, it's essentially David's cooking for Hutch, who has all these contacts in the criminal underworld of Mars, and I guess he kind of owns Leelee, and then I guess Leelee calls for help, which is kind of what kind of jumpstarts his exit to, the dumb fuckery, as the authors put it, and start traveling the ways of, becoming an adult, like coming of age. This is a coming of age story, essentially, for David. But yeah, so she reports distress, and it's around the same time he finds out that he's getting into, what did they call it? It's the what'd they say? He said, I made, it's a university, right?
He moves on. It sounds like it's basically graduation.
Yeah, like a graduate program. Trying to see what they referred to it as. But in the meantime, yeah, it's he just does that one big thing, and I think Bobbie is there kind of to step him up. But then he realizes that You know, he did the good deed of saving her life, but that she was never going to be interested in him.
He doesn't realize that.
Well, Bobbie gets him to realize that, and she does it
Bobbie
fairly
says it
quick.
to him. Yeah, he doesn't realize it. She.
He says it himself. He says she was never going to like me anyway.
Yeah,
He says that on the
yeah.
train.
No, he says it. I thought he said it in the conversation in his head when he's at dinner, however many years later, and they're talking about farming techniques or something. Terraforming.
No, no, he said it to Bobbie on the train. Right here, as him and Bobbie were leaving that scene, he said, "She doesn't like me." He said, "She just acted like she did because he told her to, and then she knew I had money."
Yeah. Okay.
So it was kind of he came to that realization then, before even that epilogue. It was his character growth, but yeah, I think probably the most interesting scene we could probably talk about.
You know where I've seen this story before, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
As a person who grew up in the '80s, born in the '80s, and grew up late '80s, early '90s, through the '90s, this book is just risky business in space.
Yeah, it's pretty close. And I wasn't even thinking back that far. I just was thinking of like the Breaking Bad almost.
Boy meets hooker on drugs. Boy becomes infatuated with hooker on drugs. Shenanigans ensue. Shit happens. We didn't get a montage of dancing in underwear, but whatever.
Why do you sound disappointed by that?
It would just be funny to watch that, like that blatant. Of,
But yeah, no. So yeah, so Leelee disappears. Um, so what does he do? Basically, he tries to buy her, and that's kind of where it becomes kind of like. I think that was kind of when his turning point was because he realized he's like, you can't afford her because all the money you've ever gotten is from me, and I know that you don't have enough. So just kind of the realization that he's like entirely dependent on him.
I, you know, actually, which that reminds me. Uh, the thing I learned most from this short story is we spent all of last book talking about how much bigger than the normal person Bobbie is. She's like, she's not an earther, so she's larger than normal anyway, right? And
Yeah,
being in the Martian Marine, she's spent a good bit of time in space, which makes her slightly larger too. But she's really muscular and in shape as a Marine. We get that kind of idea. Also because she's constantly working out. She's constantly working out in amplified gravity so that when she gets into Earth, she's good to go. She's always wearing that suit, so she's always worried about that weight, so she's constantly in good. And then you hear right in the beginning of the short story, oh, she wasn't that big. For a Draper, she was kind of small. And it's like, what? What the fuck is this family? What?
well, Mars has 1/3 the gravity of Earth, or you know what, a little bit more, between 1/3 and 2/3. But like,
Sure, but they said that Martians are big, but they've said that Belters are even bigger.
well, I
As
thought
far as
Belters were tall and
yeah,
skinny though. Like they were like
yeah,
like stretched out. The Belters were.
yeah,
So
or a lack of gravity, which is sort of what Martians would also experience to an extent.
yeah, I mean, still way less than Earth. Like I think what is Mars? Mars is, I think, half, maybe half, a little bit more than half the size of Earth. So it'd be half the gravity. Yeah. Found it interesting that they would be bigger though, whereas the Belters would be stretched out and thin. Like even their hands were stretched out. The fingers were long.
Sound really judgmental. Ew, look at their fingers. Ugh.
I'm
Ugh.
I'm just
Ugh.
remembering what was written out to me. And why are you taking offense? Do you feel yourself a belter or what?
I'd be average in space. It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
No, actually from what I hear it sounds like you'd be short still.
Why? They said
And
2 meters.
yeah, that was like the shortest folk. I mean, I'm already Kevin Hart in this scenario at this point. So because being 6 foot, I guess in Mars would be I would like wasn't that what like kind of what Holden's height is, and he's like way shorter than isn't he shorter than Naomi and
In
Bobbie?
in the Expanse novels, Belters are typically described as being quite tall, often averaging 2 to 2.5 meters.
Yeah, 2.5 meters is way above you. So
Okay, 2 meters is me.
yeah, but 2.5 is a lot.
Averaging 2 to 2.5 though means I would be on the shorter end of average, which would be great.
So anywhere from James to Shaq.
Yes. No, even bigger than Shaq. Add another foot to Shaq.
Oh man.
Can you imagine, like, another foot to Shaq? And that's average. That's not the exceptionally tall belters. The exceptionally tall belters are even bigger.
Well, yeah. Well, isn't Yao Ming right? He's a foot taller than Shaq, isn't he? I think he is.
Yao Ming is probably about half a foot, 5 inches taller than Shaq.
Gotcha. But yeah, no, I mean, can't be.
You need 6 more inches on Yao Ming to be the upper end of average for a belter.
Yeah, so basically,
And
I
I'm
wouldn't be able to
and I'm
disguise myself as anything other than an earther around any of those folks.
what a
So,
what a what a demographic swing though. Me to another half a foot over Yao Ming. That's the average. That's the average. That's how big of a swing average is. Like what?
hey, when gravity's not weighing you down, sky's the limit, literally. But yeah, so so he doesn't he cook a he was always worried about like getting caught, so he always cooked a little bit at a time, but he cooked a shit ton this time. To the point where like I think Hutch was like freaking out. He's like, I can't sell all this shit. You're gonna drive the prices down. And I'm wondering what could have possibly what do you think could have happened if Bobbie just didn't show up for that?
What do I think could have happened?
Yeah. What do you think would have happened? David would have been a dead man.
Nah, no, I doubt it.
Well, what do you think
David
would happen?
David would have been an owned man. Like for some reason he would just he Hutch would own him in the same way. Like he would spin that.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he was
Because
continuing
he
to own it.
specifically
I mean,
said
he was.
like he's too good of a cook to lose. So he would just force him to cook for him forever for this non-existent favor that he owes him of having not been killed for cooking this time. I'll just own you forever. You will always make more drugs for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, he even had the plan of, oh, well, you're going off to to your university. We'll continue there.
Yeah, and then we can make some
So,
real batches.
yeah. So, yeah, so it was a good thing. I guess a good thing Bobbie was there. But what I want to talk about is that last scene where we got the Bobbie from Caliban's War, like a deleted scene almost with this. But yeah, it just shows up and doesn't she just like casually rip his gun apart in front of him while they're
Yeah.
having the conversation?
Comes out of nowhere, beats his ass, takes his gun away, and takes it apart.
Yeah,
And then plays with the bullets while he's watching her, pretending that he's not afraid of her.
yeah, he's absolutely afraid of her. But yeah, was that last scene satisfying for you? I think
Only
that scene.
that it ended the story. Sure.
Well, I mean, I get that whole scene made it worth it. To be honest with you, I was at the same time. I mean, as cool as it was also kind of like a Deus Ex Machina thing where it was just like, if it weren't for Bobbie, the plot wouldn't have moved forward at all. And I mean, it was just she basically served as plot armor for David, which is making me wonder. I think he's going to be in future books. You don't think he will?
Nope. I could be wrong. More than capable of being wrong. Nothing about this story though made me want to see him as a character again either.
I didn't in the beginning, but the epilogue made him interesting.
What was the
The
terraforming?
epilogue, yeah, and him just clearly being way more advanced and way more grown up of a person than he was. Like I was almost a completely different character in that
What?
epilogue. Yeah.
You mean the guy who just went, "Oh man, that hooker that I saved that one time. Let me just stand up and wave to her in the middle of the restaurant, even though she clearly has no fucking clue who I am, and never tried to talk to me again after I saved her ass." That character?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. He totally grew. Oh my god, this hot chick that I used to talk to. Hey, yeah, that's growth. You're right.
You're focusing on one micro thing. I'm talking about the rest of the discussions that he's been having and how far he's come along with with the university and everything there, and actually moving things forward with the terraforming. I mean, obviously,
He's
there's
part
still
of
a
a
little
research.
bit of stupid kid left in him, but for the most part, he had a pretty big character growth toward the end there.
No, I don't agree with that. He clearly was already adept for that environment, or he wouldn't have won. From the tests, he would have failed. He wouldn't have been good. He's clearly already a very good scientist, or he wouldn't have been where he was to begin with. It wasn't like it was a surprise that he got the best of assignments, because he's really good. It's not like it's a surprise that other kid asked him to help out, because he's really good at what he does. We didn't get to see any of his lab work except for when he cooked. So you can't say that you saw character growth there, because you didn't see the character in that labby, sciencey environment at all, except for that end there.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the juxtaposition of his extremely nervous, tense attitude that he had toward the end when he's trying to rescue Leelee, as compared to his calm, cool, and complacent attitude that he had in the epilogue. Maybe that might be throwing me off.
He is the poor man's Praxidi. Oh my god, another name I'm not going to say.
Praxidiki.
Yes, thank you.
Praxidike, as I
Mr. Monk.
Mr.
Monk.
But yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, the novel, I guess, kind of ends quietly with no sweeping resolution at all. Mars remains a tense.
No, your resolution is that Bobbie decides she doesn't want to go visit family anymore.
Which you seem to have enjoyed. So
I just hope that it means that we're going to get her as a character right off the bat in the next book.
yeah, I wonder. What do you think? I mean, we already know, much to your dismay and to my nonchalantness, I'm sure we're going to have Holden back for the third one. I don't think we're getting away from him.
Holden's probably the only character that's never going to die.
Yeah. Though we do have Sparkly Miller coming back, maybe, unless that was just there was a tease at the end for no good reason there. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, good little bridge to get in there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Mars remains tense, messed, like fractured society, and although he seemed calmer, I guess you're right. He still remains a young man on the edge of moral stupidity. Gods of Risk. Gods of Risk was just a video game name that was mentioned just like in passing. Like it doesn't. I don't see what it has to like. And they even said that the original title for this was Chemistry.
That would make way more sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of disappointing too because the epilogue doesn't really, not the epilogue, the author's note really doesn't explain why they changed it. Oh wait, yeah, they did. They just said because they basically said the main reason they changed it is because they felt like Chemistry would have been a great title for it, but it would have been too tricky to find in a search engine, though.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, Gods of Risk, yeah, just, and I mean, I think they mentioned what it was, but I don't even remember. It was just it just felt like it was inserted there just to be the title. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of think that, I mean, I guess you could kind of say the title of God of Risk, I don't know, speaks to uncertain forces, social, emotional, psychological. I don't know.
You can. I won't.
Well, I'm just spitballing here, but other than that, there's not much else I have to say about that. I mean, I'm ready to travel on to Abaddon's Gate, but any final thoughts on Gods of Risk? Did it change how did it make you feel about Bobbie, at least? Did it expand
I
it
already
at all?
like Bobbie, so
her appearance was welcome for you, I suppose.
yeah, that is definitely the highlight of this story. And I say that, and it's not like it was a bad story. It just wasn't. It's not a bad story. I just don't see meaning to it. Like it wasn't. It doesn't do anything. It's fluff.
Well, I feel like all of these are going to be hors d'oeuvres. These short stories. I don't think they're going to actually have any relevant thing. It's just kind of like an extra. Ooh, that was a nice sweet cherry on top, or whatever. I don't think any of these stories are going to knock our socks off. I mean, and still, I know you didn't like Churn. I still liked Churn, but yeah.
Which one was Churn?
Churn was the one with was Amos's quasi origin story.
Well, I'll put it this way: I like this. I like Churn more than I like this one.
Okay, so this one still above Drive?
Right. At least Drive served a point. Like, I didn't particularly care for Drive. I just don't care for the end of Drive. But Drive arguably speaks way more to this universe because it was the invention of a successful Drive. My problem with Drive is that he didn't need to be in the fucking thing when he disappeared. Like, just, that was why.
Yeah.
But okay.
That's how
Whatever.
he got it named after him, I guess. So,
He invented it!
yeah, but I don't know. It was out of respect. Who knows if he would have named it after himself? This is not really important at all. Yeah, and I mean, I did like Fred Johnson's story, although I mean, I feel like he took a real big backseat in Caliban's War. I wonder if we'll see him more next time. I don't know if there's a short story in between Abaddon's Gate and what is it, Cibola Burn?
Yeah, you're not going to get me to say that. I can't even say Ava Sub Lala's name properly.
Well,
And
I
I don't
can't
mean
say
that.
that either. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I say it, and I know I'm butchering it terribly. Before anyone that of your listening crew gets mad at me for ruining what I'm assuming is probably a Hindi name.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Ava or Ava Sarala, and I've just been saying Ava because I like the way that sounds better, and for no other reason. It could very well be Ava Sarala. I guess we could find out
For the Google.
when we watch the show. I was going to say, would you have rather have read this afterward? Or do you feel good about having read it in between Caliban's War and Abaddon's Gate? Abaddon's Gate. Abaddon's Gate.
So you're going to take not reading it at all off the table?
No, I was asking you, do you find it, I guess you can't really compare because you didn't, there's no way to experience both at the same time. But I meant like, are you disappointed that you read this in between stories instead of sort of like at the end?
I would rather have never read it at all.
Fair enough.
If I'm picking between I have to read it, but now we're at the end, now. Because at least my problem with it again is just that it doesn't feel super relevant. Like it doesn't matter.
Well,
Right?
I mean, I feel like all
that's my
these
biggest
stories
struggle.
are going to feel like this.
No, Amos has mattered, right?
Yeah, but you said you didn't like knowing his origin. At least I believe so.
It changed his character a little bit for me. I didn't dislike the story. There are just aspects of it that made him seem more badass and less badass at the same time. It's fine.
He was pretty badass in
had
turn.
It had a clear and distinct purpose. Butcher had a clear and distinct purpose, right? Drive has a clear and distinct purpose. This one doesn't.
I feel like you had a different tone for
has
Drive
nothing.
when we were discussing it, though.
No, I hate the way Drive ends. Drive is stupid because of the way it ends, but it still has a purpose. Like it explains how that flight started and where it came from. Like it serves a purpose narratively in the Expanse universe for something that we didn't have complete insight into before. This does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Again, it's not a bad story. It just doesn't matter. There's no heft or consequence to anything that happened in any way whatsoever. And that's ultimately my problem with it. I don't think it was a bad story. It just doesn't matter.
All right. Well, without further ado, I guess we'll go ahead and get into a story that I feel like will most certainly have consequence to the greater expanse universe, and that will be the next book.
That's what
So
we're doing now. Okay.
yeah, join us next time for we'll be discussing part 1 of Abaddon's Gate, just moving right along.